the old little button there. And get me a little delay there. So yeah, Alice, hello. I know we're talking for a little bit before, but I'll now do my formal bit. Welcome to Sit Down for Stand Up. How are we? Are we well?
Thank you. I'm very well. How are you doing?
Good, good. I feel like I should get my microphone as well. I feel like, we're oh well, that looks inappropriate. I should get the whole visual bit. Yeah, going well, thank you. Going well. So, Alice, reason for the podcast is is to hear your story. How you got into comedy, why you got into comedy, and advice you could give to new comics to, learn from what you've done. More importantly, learn from your mistakes because we've all made them, and hopefully try and get new people on the set. So I'll start with the first question I always go for. How and why did we get into comedy in the first place?
So I started off, I wanted to become an actress and I did an acting school in Austria. I'm originally from Austria, from Vienna. And this acting school was maybe not the best thing I've ever attended because in Austria, they like to break you. They like to make you suffer and at the age of 18, I think the last thing you want to be is broken because you just find yourself. So it was horrible and I left school. I still got my degree eventually, but I ended up in an improv class and did improv for a while. And the teacher we had, she was really good because she was really looking for the golden vein, she called it. So she tried to find the what everyone can do best. So she called it the golden, what's your golden vein? And then she supported that a lot. And
Oh.
we did shows called Hands Up. Yeah, exactly. Not this, not this, not the drug direction.
Learn the hard way.
Very close. Yeah. And then basically we did a show called Hands Up. So every improv player is on stage on their own. And if the audience doesn't like you anymore, they put their hands up and 10 hands up in the air and you're gone. So it's quite a big challenge, but basically it teaches you how to structure your set, to come on stage, to not do everything you can good or you're good at first, build it up slowly because if you do everything, you bleed out quite quickly. But if you, so, but I was terrified of these shows. I was so scared. I was just like, oh my God, I hate it. So what I did is I wrote a set. I basically did stand up without knowing I'm doing stand up. I wrote my own stories, I learned them by heart, and then I got on stage and I literally just did my set. And then my teacher said, that was really good. You always hit the 10 minutes, but this is not improv. Fair enough, fair point. It was not improv. So basically, then I thought, okay, what can I do with that? And I applied for a comedy competition or a cabaret competition in Austria because we have more cabaret, or we had at the time. And I won that competition out of the blue. I suddenly won a cabaret competition, and the prize was to do my solo show at this theater, which was quite a famous theater. And a solo show in Austria is 90 minutes, 45 minutes break, 45 minutes. And they asked me, "Do you have a solo show?" And I lied. I said, "Yeah, of course, of course, I have a solo show." And I had 3 months to write this solo show, and
Well,
then
90 minutes.
I managed. Yeah,
Bloody hell, dude.
yeah.
That's
I think
mad.
I think it's jump and the net will appear. That was kind of because I think I was so new and I didn't know what to do and I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed writing funny things and I enjoyed being on stage and I just did it without thinking too much about it. But it went fairly well and then I applied for some gigs in Germany and I won newcomer competitions there and then I did some telly and I got an agent and suddenly, I had a really high start. But then, of course, then I toured my solo show. And after you win a prize, the next year you're not interesting anymore because somebody else won something. And then I performed in front of three people and I really crashed. So I think I started off really glamorous. And then I found the hard way of comedy. And when I moved to London, when you suddenly do 5 minutes, and I'm just like, 5 minutes, I've done like an hour and a half on my own. And so I had to go back again. So yeah, it was a very unusual um, start into comedy, I guess.
How long ago did you move to London?
So it was over 10 years ago.
Okay.
I think 2012-ish or something. Yeah.
Okay. And how did you find the comedy scene in the UK in comparison to Austria and Germany? Was a lot of it transferable, or did you find it was like a new type of humor you had to learn?
No, I think it was everything was transferable. It was quite because I think I did the stand-up style. So my influences when I was a kid or a teenager, I watched a lot of Ellen DeGeneres, or I didn't watch it. I had a CD, you
Mhm.
know, but I knew her jokes inside out, and she was kind of like the first stand-up I had contact with, and I really liked her jokes, and this is kind of my style as well. And so because in Austria comedy was more cabaret, so you had the fourth wall, you played more characters, you didn't talk to the audience. So I kind of liked this approach anyway, to look at the audience, to talk to them, to have more interaction. So I
Okay.
think for me the transition was not bad, it was quite easy or natural.
Okay, so if you look back from when you first started to now, how would you say your crowd work has evolved?
Um, I feel more comfortable with crowd work. The problem still being not a native speaker, you know, sometimes I don't understand what people say, but I kind of say like, oh, I speak English, but I don't understand it. So that
Mm.
also helps me to deal with hecklers that I don't want to address. I just throw that in. So that's the only problem that I sometimes just really don't understand what they're saying. But other than that, yeah, I think I like crowd. I also like to see people in the audience. I don't like it when it's totally bright on stage and you can't see anyone because I love playing off the audience. So I don't do a
Okay,
lot, but it's just nice to see them and interact.
okay. What a colloquial slang have we picked up whilst being here?
Well, uh, well, I'm I tried a lot to get rid of my accent, but
Mm.
the problem is it's really hard, and I don't know why. Because some people have been here less time than me, and they speak better English. I'm just like, how do you do that? But I, but there are certain words I can say, and I sound really, really. So, for example, parsnip.
Seen your
That's
bits,
good,
so
right?
I know this.
Parsnip.
Yeah.
But that's good, yeah. Or banana,
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 banana, banana,
banana, banana.
parsnips. We
I think
drop a
it's
lot of vowels and letters, don't
parsnip,
we? Parsnips.
banana, parsnips,
You're
banana.
Eton now, not East London.
Yeah, I think it's posh. I think if
Yes.
I do drunk posh English, I could a little bit drunk posh English with bananas and parsnip. I go, yeah, that maybe that's my go-to. That
I mean, that's the weirdest drunks shopping list I've ever heard, but it can work. It can work. And so, how do you like? You said you had to, bang out 90 minutes, and you had to write that in 3 months. What is your joke writing process?
it was It was quite easy then because I think it's always easier when you start out because you can talk about your family, where are you from, you can address. And at that time, I was studying business and law, and I did
Okay, cool.
acting classes and did my acting exam, and then I did a lot of improv. So that combination just had a lot of things of being a student, of trying to live your life, being a young adult, all these things, I think so it was fairly easy to write. And then the second show I did was when I came back. I lived in LA for a year because I
Oh,
decided, oh, I want to go to Los Angeles. I bought a one-way ticket. Just before my last exam at university, I bought this one-way ticket. And then I thought, this is a bit stupid. I should really, I mean, I finished the university, but I didn't know if I passed the exam or not. And I bought the ticket before I passed the exam, but I passed it. So it was,
hey. And we've
uh,
never used our
but
degree since, have we?
no,
Um,
well, I actually did a lot of corporate acting
okay.
because I can say I have a business background and it just makes me sound a bit, I don't know. Uh,
Hmm.
but that pays much better than comedy. So
Oh,
it
yeah, can
helped me
imagine.
to make a little bit of money. Yeah.
Oh,
But other than that, I didn't really.
I never thought about that. My degree is in accountancy and finance, which I've never used. So,
Yeah.
oh, might go hit up some corporates. That's
You could do consultants work, because if you do some funny consultant, I mean, don't do funny accounting, I guess, but it's like,
it's
well,
niche, that isn't it? Yeah,
yeah,
don't,
it's a
funny
bit.
books, they end up leading to I'll get in trouble for that. So, so you found writing comedy quite easy due to like your business degree and stuff. How often do you change your material up, and how often would you try a joke on stage before it becomes part of the repertoire, or we sod it off?
So I think the difference doing comedy in Austria or when I did it, it was 90 minutes, but it was not such a high punch because here I feel like you have to have a joke every 15 seconds. So it's a dong dong dong. You really have to shoot them out. I think it was more storytelling way. It was funny stories, but not. So now I'm really trying to punch a lot as well. And it depends. I mean, my club said I do the 20 minutes I feel most comfortable with. And, I've not done so many big clubs, so I guess I can milk that out a little bit more. For new jokes, I run my own night called Laughing Labia, and it's once a month from
I've
October to
messaged
April.
you. I've messaged you
Yeah.
then. Yeah.
Well, it's an all-female comedy night, so I'm not quite sure if I can book you, but
No, no,
but you
no.
can message me.
From the promoter perspective.
Oh, from the promoter perspective.
Right, on this
Okay.
chain, okay, cool. Because there's questions I want to ask them about promoter. So we'll do the bit first. How do you feel comedy has evolved in London over the last 10 years since you've been here doing it?
How has comedy evolved?
For the better, for the
Oh, that's a
worse?
well, I mean, I've not done a lot of open mic gigs. I've done a few when I came here, but I think it's a little bit tricky. I think it got really strict nowadays from what I observe that people have to pay for slots or they're made to buy a drink or some even have to leave a deposit before they come and then they have to bring friends. So I think that's very
Funny.
yeah,
It's
because I
really
think
not
when
funny.
I came to London, when I came to London, it was more like you just show up, do it, and then you go home.
Mm,
But I think so I think that's it's a little bit more tricky. You need a really system to start. You need a little bit of money and you need a some friends who are willing to come regularly to get time on stage.
yeah.
Um, I think COVID has changed a bit because it was a shame when I started to get really nice gigs and then COVID came and it just threw me back as if because I guess so many people who are famous have not performed and were willing to perform under whatever conditions. So, I feel like I'm just recovering from that now to get out of that. But it's not the easiest to get constantly good paid work, I think.
I think the market is so saturated as well, and it is unfortunate that London is a heavy bringer spot. I mean, I've got my Excel sheet. There's 144, I believe, venues or nights in London, and 144, and only 41 of them are non-bringers, and that is a
Yeah, that.
crazy statistic. And
Mm,
I don't understand because I've messaged quite a couple of them like back in the day, and I even said to him like, look, I'm a big lad. I will drink 10 pints. If you're worried about the money side, I'm good. But it was more they just wanted another bum on the seat.
mm.
So I don't know what
And
they want from it.
I guess it's fair enough because you need audience, right? You need audience. But then the question is also if everyone just brings their friend, is this a good reflection of how a gig is? Because I have seen open mic comedians who do really well at open mic, and you put them on a venue where they don't know, where their audience is not their friends or other open mic comedians, and they die because it's just not sometimes I think it has its pluses, but it also has its minuses. And
Hmm.
I guess sometimes you just have to you just have to get it out in front of an audience. And if comedians do their slot and leave after, then there is no one here to watch you. And if you're last in the lineup, it's a bit bad for you. So it's tricky. I think if the promoter, if they don't get their own audience, then they put it on the comedians. And yeah.
To me, that's false economics.
Mm.
that's, portraying something that it isn't. And if you can't have people there, then maybe, I don't know, maybe it shouldn't be there. I mean, I'm being contradictory on that because I mean I want as many places as possible. Have you done up north yet? And if
Yeah,
so, what was the difference?
so I think the comedians who live there, they say it's really easy to get paid work. You need a car and then you can just, but I think comedians, a lot of comedians moved actually to Manchester and just drive two
Hmm.
gigs, and can make an okay living. So I think
Hmm.
it is a little bit easier to get established from what I've heard, not from what I've experienced. So yeah.
Okay. I mean, I speak to comedians every single day, and I spoke to so many from up north and even further beyond the wall, Scotland, and it also they say yeah, it's like 5 minutes don't exist, bringer spots don't exist, like they start off on tens, and yet you need a car 100%. But they also say that freedom of speech is less policed up north. How do you feel, it is in London with sort of freedom of speech and being able to say what you want on the stage? And should you be able to say anything you want on the stage?
Well, that's that's an interesting question.
Thank you.
So, I think, I think, of course, freedom of speech is important, but it's also you also have to be aware if you have a mic and if you have a stage, you have to be aware of what you say. You can't say things that you say to your friends at home, or you should not say things because, and I think it is actually, uh, it is yeah, so I think you can make jokes about everything, but don't use jokes as an excuse to be racist, homophobic, sexist. And I think a lot of these jokes exists. And I think especially sexist jokes, they're kind of like brushed away because we're kind of used to it. I think racist jokes, they are high alert now. So if you are white and you make a racist joke, then I think you will get a little bit of a problem. But I think sexism is still glowing. I think transphobic jokes are also still happening. And I think you can joke about it. And if you use irony, that's fine. But just be aware because what you say affects the audience as well. And they maybe think, like, oh, well, they say it's fine. So I guess it's fine as well.
Yeah.
So you have quite a bit of power when you have a mic and you should be aware of what you're saying. Like politicians, they should not be able to say anything they do.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
These ones in particular. I agree. Like never punch down. Never, never say something to. I mean, never be a dick for the sake of being a dick.
Yeah.
Is is like my stance on it. With my comedy, I do stuff, but it's never. When it looks like it's going to offend, but then it's taken away.
Mm.
If you know what I mean. So, like the new bit I'm writing about is how when a man and a woman get married, a man's workload decreases by 1 hour, and a woman's workload increases by 6 hours. So, like that's why gay people always look so good. They always look so healthy because they've got extra time in the day. So it looks like it's going to shock, but it doesn't. It takes it away, and it's actually
Mm.
complimenting.
Mm.
But
Mm. Yeah.
but coming from me, it looks like it's initially going to shock you, but it's not. It's actually being really nice, and that's sort of like the way I want to go. But I do worry that if you touch a topic, regardless of how you come at it, they'll instantly judge based on your persona.
Yeah. Um, that's of course because the persona is carrying the message, and I think also what when you are, for example, if you make a joke about, I don't know, how stupid your girlfriend is or whatever, and then the next comedian is a woman, then it is, and this is actually research has been done on that, it is harder for women than to build up the audience. It's the same with racism. If you talk bad about black people and the next comedian is a black person, then the audience automatically thinks, oh, this is, they have a negative stereotype then of this person and they have to fight against that. So I think you are also responsible for your peers or for someone who comes after your slot. So you set them up with being, if you are racist, homophobic, sexist, then this has an impact on that as well. So I think being a great comedian shows that you have awareness of that and not just dash out whatever, because it is different. You are you are saying something publicly. It's different than if you just say it in your bedroom. And
I've not
I
looked at it
do
from the
think
side of the next comedian coming on. I've never looked at it like that, like, which is interesting because
it's
I'm
called
learning every day also.
stereotype threat.
Okay.
So it's and yeah, so the audience perceives the comedian possibly worse, and maybe the comedian is also performing worse, because if somebody says how bad women are and then I come on stage and think, oh my god, if somebody says women are not funny and then I come on stage and think like, oh my god, am I, so then I have uh, almost a self-fulfilling prophecy and I can't keep up with my timing and stuff. So, and they have done that with I think women on math test and black people and intelligent tests, and they made them feel really bad before and then they underperformed even though they
It's
were.
mad.
So
That's proper, like,
it
that
is,
is
it is,
interesting. So could
yeah,
you
it
do it in
has
the
a big
reverse
impact.
then? Like if I knew a woman was on next and I did a joke about how my girlfriend's always right and how, do you know what I mean? How I'm the
Mhm.
idiot and she's great. And then next one's a female comedian. Would that then put her in
A
good
stereo,
stead?
yeah, so that would be a stereotype lift, basically. That would be the opposite.
We
And I
like them.
think,
That's what we've got to go for.
yeah, yeah, encourage the other, yeah.
So I can't say on my next set, oh, can I have a female after me, please, or something like that. They might get instant questioned. I might get questioned instantly, but it's all for the positive.
Well, I think in general, the rule of thumb is just on stage, don't be a dick, make jokes, be funny, but don't be a dick. It's not that hard, and we don't have to. And there are rape jokes out there, and I'm
Mm,
so surprised when I still see them, because I'm thinking, what, why? How
mm,
is that possible? Violence against women is such a big topic, and then you just make a laugh and make a joke about it. It's just, and it just normalizes rape, because then I sit in the audience and say, "Ah, it's not that bad," but it is bad, and it takes so much energy to fight it, and then you have somebody doing a stupid joke and destroying it. So I think just don't be a dick, just be
I
aware
did
of
it.
what you're saying, and
Yeah.
it's easy, it's quite easy. And the same with racism as well, or transphobic jokes. Just don't be a dick.
Mm. So let's go to laughing labia. I mean, I always thought the labia was an urban myth, but um, well, how did we come up with that? And tell me about it.
So basically, that started. I think it's the 12th or 13th season this year. So I started it when
So
I moved to London, and my ex-girlfriend, she knew a bar, a gay bar, and she knew I was a comedian, so she got me a gig there, and then I started to do, and she actually came up with the name because she's like, "Oh,
I
that's a
like the
great
name.
name."
I'm a sucker for an alliteration. I've got to be honest. Like, so
Yeah, I was thinking, well, but as a non-native speaker, if you hear something in a different language, it doesn't sound that bad. So I'm just like, yeah, let's go for it. And there is laughing cows, laughing horse, and she said, call it laughing labor if you do an all-female lineup. I said, okay, that sounds fun, and it's
comedy
people do
clit.
remember that name.
Trying to think comedy
Yeah,
clit.
I I
I'm trying to
think
think of alliterations now for it.
you should do a night like that.
Humorous
You
Hynum.
should,
Like, I'm trying
perfect.
to.
Yeah, but I started it a while ago, and then it changed to different bars, and now it's at the Phoenix Arts Club in Soho, and it's a really, really nice venue. And I just try to feature. So my goal was with this show to, because there's the stereotype women are not funny, and I've heard that a lot when
Oh,
people say, "Ah, women are not funny."
on one of my episodes, on one of my like first ever pods, I was speaking with oh, who was it? I can't, they're gonna kill me. And they were like, it's ridiculous how in net on Netflix, even up to a year ago, they had a search category saying women in comedy as if it needs to be separated. Women
Mm.
are, whoever says women aren't funny, it's just it's so stupid. I was, I did my one yesterday. She asked me how many women have I had on here, and out of the 36, 14 have been women, and I've been pissing myself laughing non-stop. It is so stupid saying women aren't funny. Like I've never understood that concept.
But I just recently got in a big discussion on Facebook where somebody said, well, women are just not as funny as men. It's biological or evolutionary.
What the
And
fuck's it
I'm just like,
biological?
well, it's,
How?
yeah, yeah,
It's
I mean, Darwin said that as well.
dude.
Darwin said that
Oh, okay,
it's
yeah, cool.
evolutionary but
Yeah,
Darwin married his first cousin. So,
yeah. And he
I
believed in
guess, and had,
God, and yeah, yeah.
you
Like
probably
he was an
didn't know
opium addict
anything.
as well, wasn't he, Darwin? There's
Yeah.
yeah. Let's trust
So,
someone from 200 years ago. That always sounds like good
exactly.
logic.
But basically, the aim with the show was to book as diverse people as possible.
Hmm.
Because, maybe you sit in a show, if you have a show with five comics and one is a woman, and
Hmm.
then she talks about something you're not interested in, then it's very easy to say, well, actually, women are not funny. I can see how
Hmm.
it comes up, how people come up with the concept. But if you have a show with like five female comedians and everyone is different, you have a one-liner, a character act, somebody who is in her 70s, a very young person, you will like, there might be one that you say, like, I don't understand their humor, but the other one you laugh. Like, and it never, when you go to a normal comedy club with a lot of men in it, you never say men are not funny because you don't like one man, because you likely like one of the others. So that was the goal, to book a quite diverse lineup and to feature all kinds of um, different style of female comedians.
Okay, I mean, I commend that. I think that's awesome. How would you So let's do this from the perspective of a comedian then, and they want to perform, at your place. Like I said, unfortunately, I don't tick the box. That's absolutely fine. Don't worry. I've got my bringer spots. What would someone have to do to get a spot at Laughing Labia, and what etiquette would you expect from them?
So the easiest is just via email, because if they contact me on Instagram or Facebook, I always send my email because it's
Hmm.
easier for me to organize everything over email, and then with a video clip. So because I I like to see a video where you then can say, okay, this is the style of the, because otherwise you don't know what the style is, and then if I want to book as diverse as possible, it's good to see
Yeah.
different clips and then organize the shows according to that. So
Okay.
a video clip. And yeah, I mean, I have, it's a mixture. I normally do, the slots are normally 12 minutes. It's all paid. Sometimes I have, for example, Shazia Mirza was on the show, or Fatih Al Ghori, and they
Hmm.
do a little bit
She's
of a
brilliant.
longer slot. Yeah. So and then
Okay.
I would like to get more newcomers in as well, because I had quite a few application for who just started comedy, and I thought, it's quite a nice concept if you have somebody who is so brand new,
Hmm.
some fresh air from these bringer gigs, if they have like a proper gig with
Hmm.
audience, and if they have bigger names on the lineup as well, maybe they can connect or learn or get feedback. Or I don't know, but it's maybe a good collaboration for comedians if you so I want to open it up a bit more to newer, or have 1 5 minute slot in the show.
Well, I mean, I can send someone your way straight away. She's a Turkish comedian. She's female, absolutely. She's had me in stitches. So I'll sort that out with you after. Big up Malike. She's awesome. So say they send you the video clip. Would you want them to do the material they've shown you, or are they allowed? Because I've always been curious about this. So say if okay, I not me, but send you a 10-minute video clip. You watch it, you love it, woo, I'm amazing. Would you want me to do that same act, or is it basically a verification that yes, you're okay on stage, yes, your material's good?
I mean, that's a good question because I'm thinking the same when I send in my clip. And then I'm thinking, do they want me to do that? Or if they book me again, do they want me to do exactly the same or do they want me to do something else? Because some people say, I really liked your stuff. I want you to do exactly the same in the next show again. And then I'm thinking, oh, I need to do a new material because I've done. So it's a tricky question. And I think there is no answer to it because everything is different.
Hmm.
Um, I think if people want to do something different, they can. Sometimes my blood freezes a bit when I see the comedian backstage and say like, "Oh, I just tried new material," and I'm just like, "Oh, Jesus Christ!" Because it's a paid slot. The audience
Yeah.
pays money. So if I have a lot of people doing new material, then of
Hmm.
course, but equally, some people just are like that and they don't do the same material at every gig. If they're used to do, if for some people new material is a big deal, then please don't do new material at a show where the audience pays. But if people just, I know one comedian from the States, she has every solo show is different. She tours, but every night is different because she just improvises. And if some people are comfortable doing that, then of course go for it. So yeah.
And so, how many did you say will go on a bill at one night?
5 to 6.
Okay, and how do you decide the order? Or is it like you got your openers, you got your closers, you got your mids?
So I just try to see, maybe have somebody with higher energy in the front. Then the music, if somebody does music, always, if I have two acts per half or per part, then have the music always as the last part, because
Okay.
I think sometimes if you just talk, it's harder to follow music. Um,
Yeah.
and if it's a bigger name, then have them at the end.
Okay. Because I give you an example.
But
Like I
sometimes if they
go, no,
sorry,
no, go on, you
sometimes if
finish.
they have to leave, if they have to leave early or something, I'm flexible. Then I put the headliner as an opener or something. So
Hmm.
I'm not stuck to headliner position as last. But I think it's good to finish with something loud or music or high punch and storytelling or non-music in the beginning.
Completely agree. Because I did a gig 3 nights ago. Won't say where. There was six of us on. All of them killed it. But the first three were all one-liner comedians. And it's sort of like, well, look, I appreciate all forms of comedy. One-line comedians, I I laugh at, and then I get annoyed at myself for laughing at it. It's my guilty pleasure. Like I like deadpan storytellers. That's me. But I do have a soft spot for one-line comedians. But when it was three in a row, I was sort of just a bit like, look, yeah, cool. But they should have, like broken it up a little bit more. So I do think
Yeah,
the order
definitely.
is quite
Yeah.
important. So Alice, I'm going to bring you back down to earth now, and I'm going to humble you a little bit. We've been doing this for 10 years. What is, looking back, what is the worst joke that you thought was good at the time? Looking back and you go, oh my God, how did I think that was funny?
Well, I I mean, I have I still think it's funny, but nobody laughs, and I kept it in for a long time. And I would because it's just I like it, but I think nobody else. Well, I say I talk about flying, and I say I'm so scared of flying, and then I say if I was a bird, I would walk, and I just love it. It's such a cute joke, no? If
It's
I was a
innocent.
bird, I would walk.
I
It's
mean, you got a
it's
chuckle out of me
innocent.
there, but when I look back, I'm thinking that's not funny. But you got a chuckle out of me there and then.
Yeah, I think the audience always is like, huh, what is she? They don't, but I kept it in. I'm just like, no, I'm doing it. I don't care because I liked it.
So, would you say you write your comedy for yourself or for the people?
Um, well, I guess it is for other people because I perform in front of other people and I want them. My goal is to make them laugh. So it the main focus, of course, is for other people. But I guess the ideas that come from me and the decision what I want to talk about and what the story is about is from me. So
Hmm.
I talk about things that are important to me or that I like to address, but it is eventually for the audience.
And would you say you are yourself on your stage, or do you sort of create an alternative persona?
No, I'm pretty much myself. I mean, comedy is always some stories I push for the punchline, and there maybe truth is sometimes,
Stretched
you know, stretched.
a
But a
little
lot of
bit.
things, a lot of things are actually true. But yeah, some things are stretched, and some things you just need, especially if you do a whole hour, you just need a few elements and a few characters or something that you need to put in, and maybe they don't exist as such. But yeah.
Yeah. I know. I remember speaking prior about Edinburgh Fringe. How was that?
Yeah, so I'm going up to Edinburgh in 2 weeks.
You going? Okay, cool.
But I've done two of my solo shows there, and I've been, I think, 6 or 7 times.
Mm,
It's great. I mean, it is both. I hate it and I love it
mm,
because it is so intense. There are so many people, so many shows. The competition is so high. You need to flyer. It's
mm,
exhausting. And it's hard. It's hard because the audience, they are tourists. Some of them don't speak English that well. Some of them have seen 10 shows before they see your show. So they're just tired. So then you might have reviewers in the audience. If you suddenly see somebody taking out the pen and the paper, you're like, Jesus Christ. So it's very nerve-wracking, but it's a chance to do your shows 23, 26 times back to back, to do other shows, to meet all the other comedians. It's great for networking or just general, find inspiration, friends. I love the other shows. I love physical theater when I'm there. I love to watch it because nobody talks. And I'm just like, oh, this is such a so nice as an alternative to comedy. So it's great shows, and but it's a bit mad. It's too expensive now. So I'm not sure if this will be the last time I go up because it just became a little bit out of control
mm.
with the prices.
Yeah, a lot of comedians have said that to me, that it has sort of changed over the years, and it no longer is sort of like a gateway into the industry further. But for the experience and to meet new acts, new talents, it's still Mecca for the
Mm.
comedians. So I applaud that. So Alice, I'll ask you a question. If there is somebody thinking about getting into comedy, um, we'll do it from a female perspective. What advice could you give them?
So I think just there are a lot of different WhatsApp group or online Facebook groups. So maybe go on them, check out uh, which gigs are good, because I think there are some gigs that are not good and that are better to be avoided. And I do think it can be, I've heard from a few, and I've had a few sleazy encounters. So I guess it's good to talk to people, talk with people, ask which gigs are good. Word of mouth is the best, if somebody recommends it or somebody say, oh, stay away from this person, just do that. Um, then I guess for material, just find your golden vein, just find what you enjoy, what works best, what feels nice, and don't drop the joke because it didn't work once. Just if you enjoy it, just use it and work on it and do it again. Because in Edinburgh, it's quite nice to see you do so many shows back to back, and then some love you and some hate you. So it's
Eh,
so if you enjoy it, keep it in and make it yours.
Okay. Would you? I never thought about this plan. For say a younger female comedian, would it be advised almost to get a mentor type to basically tell you like what's good, what's not good? Don't fall prey to the demons in this industry.
Well, I think it's good. Yeah, you can get a mentor or just talk with your peers, because I think, when you start doing the gigs where you car share or something, just
Mm.
make sure this is the right person you want to be in the car with, or just
Yeah.
double check, just
You
ask
find your
about.
friends on.
And
Right.
yeah, and I think people do talk, and this is also why, don't be a dick
Mm.
yourself when you go. Don't behave like a dick, because people do talk, and
Yeah.
there are WhatsApp groups where people say, "Oh, this person is pretty bad." So
Mm.
be aware of how you present yourself. So
Mm.
behave well and also check out and discuss with other people who is behaving well.
Okay.
So
I will say, from my perspective at least, it might be different from yours. 99% of comedians I've met have been wonderful, have been lovely, have wanted to help. They want the best for you. So, comedian wise, I'd say it's mostly fine. Some it could be the punters you'd have to like be a little bit curious of maybe. But from a male perspective, I have never had a problem with other. There's been people I think are dicks, but I've never had a problem in regards to like threats and stuff. But it's probably
yeah,
different.
well, I think, but I think that this is exactly the point. Most of everything is fine, but
Hmm.
then the one or two people who are not fine, they are getting like they change everything, and it's just like, oh my God, and they make it really worse. But
Yeah.
in general, it is good. I mean, I think there is still a problem with getting paid on time or chasing people for money. That's a bit of an issue
Hmm.
because, I think at the moment I'm chasing 3 gigs and 1 gig I was chasing for a year for £30. And I'm just like, come on, guys, just
Yeah.
pay me. So the industry is uh could be smoother. I think in other jobs maybe things are easier than in comedy. There are certain things you
That's actually interesting because I've never had that problem, but then again, I'm 6 foot and 250 pounds.
maybe I have to grow a bit.
I'll go down for you. Tell me where they are, and I'll go get the money
Okay,
for
I'll
you. I promise you. Okay.
send you the list. You're my you're my wingman,
I'm your
bouncer.
wingman. I'm your debt collector for you. I'll do it free of charge for you, guys. All I want is a spot in open labia and laughing labia, and then so Alice. I always end it with this question. It's my favourite question to ask. It's a two-parter. One, what has been your favourite moment on the stage? And second of all, because we've all been there, what time did we bomb the hardest?
Okay, I'll start with the time I bombed the hardest. So actually, I had two stories on that.
That's fine.
One
Give me
was,
as many as possible. I love these. These are fuel for
so,
my soul. These are to know
uh,
that I'm not the only one who has died on my ass.
it's so one was quite a while ago, and basically I was in discussion with the management, and they said, "Okay, look, we want to see you. Let's come down." It was a little town somewhere in the countryside, and they said, "You just open for this local comedian at his solo show, and then we can check out and see if we can work together." And I got there to that pub, and these people just wanted to see him. And then there was me having to do 20 minutes, and I have a German accent. I came on stage. I think they thought, what is she doing and why is she talking like that? They didn't understand me. They didn't laugh at all. They just looked at the what they wanted me gone. So I didn't get this management. It was just awful. When I felt like an intruder on someone's gig and they hated me. I died for 20 minutes. It was very painful. And the second one was actually not long ago. There was a stag do in the front row, and
Okay.
they were in their 50s, men, drunk
So
men in their
second, third
50s.
time round.
And they had a blow up doll with them.
Hmm.
There was a blow up doll sitting next to this group of men. And the MC struggled. He was struggling a bit, but then before he got me on, he had the brilliant idea to get the blow up doll on stage. And they loved it. Suddenly the whole room laughed because they were not engaged before. But then the blow up doll was on stage. Everyone laughed. Everyone was happy. And the next comedian was me. And I said, "Hello, I'm from Austria." And they're like, "Oh God, get the blow up doll back on stage." I'm just like, okay. It was yeah.
Oh, sorry about that. Is that also one of them things like you said about creating a negativity before a female comes on stage? A blow up doll is basically sexualizing a woman to the max,
Yeah.
like tier
You have
10.
no chance.
What was the best then, Alice? Come on, let's be nice with this. Let's end this nicely.
What was the best thing? Oh my God, what was the best thing? Uh, what was the best thing?
How
Jesus
did they
Christ.
allow a blow up doll? Why did they allow that?
Well, it wasn't an audience member. I don't know if they paid for a ticket of this blow up doll. No,
It
I
was
think the
their
best.
bringer.
Yeah, exactly. It was a bringer. Maybe you could do that. Maybe you could just bring a blow up doll. I mean,
But
maybe she
for the
drinks a
chance
bit as
alone,
well.
they should allow that, shouldn't they, for the attempt alone?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm going to
I
do that.
mean,
I'm going to do that, and I will let you know how it goes.
um, yeah, so I think that a, a moment I loved, it was at Laughing Labia, because in the middle of Laughing Labia, I always do a quiz, like a silly quiz. And every question, every answer is either Austria or Alice Frick. So basically, it's just a very silly, stupid quiz. Um, because I kind of like pub quizzes, but I always fail at them, and they would never book me to do a pub quiz. So I thought I'll do it on stage in my own show. And then I did a quiz, and it was, I don't even know what the answers were, but it was serious answer, serious answer. The third answer was Alice Frick, like which famous actor was born to Halloween or something. And then I said Alice Frick is, and this woman, she's like, so who was the third one? I don't know her. And I was just like, oh well, that's me. So, and then she realized, and it was just really funny. And I was laughing so much on stage. I really enjoyed that.
Perfect moment. You born on Halloween?
Pardon?
You born on
No,
Halloween?
no, 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 no. So I was the wrong
Oh,
answer in this quiz.
I'm born on
But
Halloween.
no, I was really on the
Yeah,
31st.
yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah. Believe it or not,
wow.
yeah, I remember the date quite well. Yes, yeah. 31st October. I'm a Scorpio. I don't know what that means, but I've been told many times that's a reason why people can't be with me. Might be a cop out, but uh,
Oh wow.
Alice has been absolutely brilliant. Thank you ever so much for coming on the show, and yeah,
Thank you for
thoroughly
having
enjoyed
me.
that. And I know a lot of funny female comedians in London, and I'll get them to like reach out.
Perfect. Do that. Yeah, great.
Thank you ever so much, Alice. Have a good one.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
No
Bye.
worries. Thank you.